creepy and cool TikToks that will blow your mind. Are you ready? Are you ready? Let's go!
Disclaimer: this video is for entertainment purposes only. Please do your own research, as these clips haven't been fact-checked.
Wow. Just hope everyone goes back blessed safely.
Hey, Dad, look at Carly!
Get up here, Carly!
Carly, what are you doing?
What the hell was that?
Ew.
Get up here, Carly!
What is that?
Red. Red! Red!
Oh! Look at that face.
Oh my god! Oh my god! Oh my god! Oh my... Hi, are you a skinhead?
Oh no. What's that? Oh! That's creepy. People said the first one was not a skinwalker, it was a Wendigo.
Y'all are not even ready for what I'm about to show you. Let's just say that 2025 so far has not been on anyone's bingo card. Okay, y'all ready for this? Researchers have discovered the first ever fossilized human brain from a young man who died during the Mount Vesuvius eruption 2,000 years ago. This is glass. This young man's brain transformed into glass in an extremely hot cloud of ash. I wasn't gonna say it, but this is really taking blowing your mind to a whole other level. Researchers found these small chunks of black material inside his skull back in 2020, not knowing exactly what it was. Now they believe a hot ash cloud of around 510 degrees Celsius surrounded the body, then quickly cooled to turn his brain into glass. This is the only known case of human tissue, or any organic material for that matter, turning to glass. Researchers say this phenomenon is super rare, but not technically impossible. Their theory is that a pyroclastic flow, which is a fast-moving flow of hot gas and volcanic material, buried the man and caused this bizarre transformation. The one aspect that is stumping scientists is how could this pyroclastic flow hit such extremely high temperatures and then cool down fast enough to form glass. Creating glass isn't easy. It requires very specific temperature conditions and very rarely happens naturally. What's even more intriguing is that no other organs turn to glass, only the brain. Scientists think that maybe the skull provides some kind of unique protection that somehow allowed the perfect conditions to transform into glass, something the other organs didn't have. But how wild is that? We officially have gotten our first glass brain. If you like science worth sharing, then give us a follow everywhere at TL Science.
I know some people with a glass brain right now. Indonesia, folks.
Putus, lemigas, atas lemigas. Atas lemigas, longsor, atas lemigas. Jalan terputus. Dibagi dua, jalur satu dibagi dua, gantian.
Di rest area Gunung Mas gak bisa lewat, motor lewat hanyut ke bawah, arusnya keras. Yang masa lewat ke bawah hanyut, motornya ke...
This place is uphill. Could you imagine what happened to the people downhill? Lots of animals die. Breaks my heart.
BlackRock just bought the Panama Canal. Did you know that? Did you hear about the largest private equity company in the entire world buying the most important shipping lane in the Western Hemisphere? BlackRock, the $1 trillion private equity company, the one with $11.5 trillion in assets, the ones who control so much of the world around us. When you dial down on all of these financial reports, they now own both ends of the Panama Canal. They bought the Atlantic port and they bought the Pacific port. So that way they can get us at both ends. Yeah, BlackRock. I know a lot of people who voted for Donald Trump because they thought that he would stand up against BlackRock, but he's the one who not only made the conditions for this to happen, he's the one who facilitated the deal, and then he was so proud about it, he actually congratulated himself about it in the speech last night. Donald Trump said he was going to invade Panama to take control of it back for America. He then threatened Panama and the owners of those ports so much that then BlackRock just stepped in and, as good guys, offered $23 billion to buy all these ports. And then Donald Trump signed off and said, that's a great idea. And then last night he said, America now controls the Panama Canal through an American company. He just didn't tell you it was BlackRock. Instead, he spent the rest of that 90-minute speech blaming all of our problems on transgender mice or some shit. So make sure, as you go and say your prayers tonight, that you thank Donald Trump. Say thank you, Donald Trump, for selling the Panama Canal to BlackRock.
Wow, I don't know about that. Let me know how you feel about this in the comment.
Tiba-tiba nih. Makin gede.
And that's not a reaper, folks. Look at that. My goodness.
Banjir, tolong bantuan nih, panginfokeun, bantuan. Pensiunan landing.
Izin melaporkan, beberapa rumah sudah tenggelam. Minta tolong bantuannya. Siapa saja yang melihat video saya, tolong melaporkan dari Kampung Pensiunan RW 01, Desa Tugu Selatan, Kecamatan Cisarua, Kabupaten Bogor.
Banjir tuh. Banjir. Airnya naik nih. Tiba-tiba nih.
Please pray for us, folks.
The bodies of 9 missing students have been found brutally hacked apart and dumped on a highway in Mexico alongside a bag of severed hands. This is believed to be a brutal cartel killing. The bodies were found in a car 3 days after the group went missing while reportedly heading on holiday. But local reports claim they were members of the Los Zacapuashla criminal organization. So far, no suspects have been named.
You know, for anyone saying that the cartel wouldn't do this to tourists, look up the term calentando la plaza. They don't have limits.
This will be the scariest video you see all week. Watch this. The following video I'm going to show you was submitted by one of my followers all the way from Australia. There are 2 separate video clips that I'm going to let you watch and listen to all together. His son was working in the Australian outback in the middle of nowhere, and they were setting up a camp, like a work camp. First video, you're not going to see much. It's completely dark, but you're going to hear some of the creepiest moaning that you've ever heard, followed by dogs barking, but there were no dogs. Second video is from inside, and you're going to see a creepy, scary looking witch type ghost figure that you've ever seen. Watch this, let me know in the comments what you think this could be.
What? I don't see anything. That is creepy. I might be wrong, but I believe this has been edited in. I heard the exact crying and dogs in another video from Mexico saying is La Llorona. Something
This
like
is
that.
the only animal in the world known to hunt orcas. It's the cachalot whale, the third largest whale in the world. They get up to 60 feet long and 90,000 pounds. But unlike other whales who just eat mouthfuls of fish, this is an actual predator who hunts other large creatures. That makes them the largest predator in the world. They're known to hunt other whales, sharks, giant squid, and yes, sometimes even orcas. But the craziest part is they travel in groups of up to 50. At 90,000 pounds, that's like 4 million pounds of problems. That's what the top of the food chain looks like.
Wow.
Stop buying Costco rotisserie chicken. Here's why. You probably didn't know this, but this little peep is only about 6 weeks old. This is a specially bred chicken in horrible conditions, grown and fattened on likely corn and soy that's GMO to create this chicken in 6 weeks that you're eating. They take it to a mass slaughterhouse where they dip it in chlorine and other toxins to make it safe, and it's leaving those residues on the chicken. And this bird isn't just seasoned with normal herbs and spices. They have preservatives in here like sodium phosphate that's linked to liver and kidney damage, and carrageenan, which can degrade into polygeenan, which is a known inflammatory agent and possible carcinogen. And lastly, this chicken is hot, right out of the oven, stored in a plastic bag, and nobody really knows what type of plastic bag this is, but it's likely a mix of polyethylene terephthalate. Remember that word phthalate? It's a known hormone disruptor, and this is microwave safe, so you're putting hot food into a plastic bag that can leach these hormone disrupting chemicals, and 117 million of these are eaten each year in the US, so share this video with your friends.
Hey, y'all better show this clip to Costco and see what they have to say. Thank God we don't have Costco here.
Go, yalla.
Oh, this is crazy. Oh my goodness. Oh my God. Why? Why? Could have killed someone, you know, not remotely funny. Please tell me that the guy has been found.
Gold is not wealth, it is a binding force, an ancient contract. A metal forged in the death of stars, infused with cosmic energy, stolen by gods and hoarded by men. The Anunnaki did not come for worship, they came for gold. The Nephilim, hybrid offspring of fallen watchers, ruled in cities of gold before the flood. The Bible warns of idolaters, but what if the golden calf was more than a false god? What if it was a power source? Egyptians called gold the flesh of the gods. The Aztecs, the Mayans, the Hindus all spoke of a golden age when men and gods walked together. Then came the resets. Atlantis fell, Tartaria was buried, Babel was shattered. The Vatican hoards gold while the Pope prays beneath a serpent's throne. Islam's Kaaba is encased in gold-threaded cloth. Hindu temples hide vast gold vaults. Why? Tesla discovered energy in the ether. The ancients already knew. The pyramids, obelisks, cathedrals, they weren't built for beauty. They were machines. Gold lined their interiors, transmitting frequencies, opening gateways. Then came the suppression. CERN searches for the God particle. The Hadron Collider's rings mirror the ancient gold sun disks of Peru. Is it science or ritual? Governments stockpile gold, not for economy, but for control. Gold stabilizes nuclear reactions, and something darker. The elite believe it amplifies power, preserves youth, even opens dimensional rifts. The black hole at the center of our galaxy hums at a frequency. Does gold unlock the signal? The truth is buried beneath temples, hidden in vaults, written in ancient texts. Gold is not treasure, it is a key. A contract, a curse. And the ones who know its power have never stopped using.
Gold sits in banks, useless for survival, yet wars were fought for it. Was its value imposed by something beyond us? Who truly benefits from it? Oh, by the way, that lady is not AI. Okay, this is totally AI, people. Cobras don't flock together.
A woman has pleaded guilty to bestiality and possessing child abuse material after police discovered 153 explicit videos of her abusing her pet dog. 31-year-old Brianna Montgomery from Las Vegas was arrested last May after investigators traced illegal content to her phone. She initially denied wrongdoing, claiming her phone automatically downloaded the media. As a part of her plea deal, Montgomery will have to register as a sex offender and could face up to 7 years in prison when sentenced in May.
You know what's crazy? The investigators who have to watch all those videos from start to finish. Jeez. Bro have a best buddy beside him.
I was transitioning. We were in a really bad part of the hood. Because when you are somebody like me who transitions like in their 20s, you're thrown into womanhood and you have to learn how to deal with all these crazy guys that are after you because you're like, you know, fresh meat. Like you're a dude or whatever. You know.
Joe Biden scanned every single soul in the room, including the cameraman and the camera. Wow.
What are you doing?
That's an oarfish. Holy shit, that's an... They've almost never been seen live. They live a mile deep. Come up here to die.
Why are all the super deep water animals trying to leave? Oh my goodness. Yeah. Look at that. Thank you, sir. Oh.
That's awesome.
Still wonder why it's against the law to interact with mammals of the sea. US laws are messed up. They know something we don't. Come on, man. Ooh. MacGyver over here. Whoa. Wow. Man, please do the small one.
Mr. Armstrong, Bart Sibrel, ABC Digital. Wanted to give you the opportunity to swear on the Bible that you walked on the moon. Will you put your left hand on the Bible and swear to God that you walked on the moon?
Joe. Mr. Sibrel.
Yes? If you really walked on the moon, why would you not do that? So why don't you just put the end to the record in the argument and put your hand on the Bible, swear to God you walked on the moon.
Mr. Sibrel, knowing you, that's probably a fake Bible.
Really? Well, no, it's a real Bible. You have the opportunity to have $5,000.
The meeting is not open.
Well, you have $5,000 cash. You can give it to charity if you swear on the Bible that you walked on the moon.
Please
I have the
give it to
tape.
charity. It'd be fine.
Why don't you swear to... Why not? Why won't you do it? So why don't you put your hand on the Bible and swear to God that you walked on the moon?
Mr. Sibrel is made a fool of himself in front of the world. Mr. Sibrel, you do not deserve answers.
There's Neil Armstrong and Buzz Aldrin said twice they didn't go.
Hi, Abuela. Hope you're having a wonderful time. Won't be long now till you're old. You're old. Baby. Oh, sorry, love. We're not used to making videos. I know everything will be fine. Stop. Everything will be fine for you, love.
Right, sorry.
Oh, no, sorry, love. We have the chuckles now. Anyway, can't wait to see her. Hold her in our arms. Know you and Sean will make wonderful parents.
Yo, you don't even believe your daughter or son?
I'm sorry, Anna.
Why are you laughing?
He's laughing at me. Sorry, sweetheart. Love you lots. Sorry for laughing so much, but it's just looking at the two of us on the camera.
Oh, okay.
Well, we really do mean
sincerely.
Oh, I love you. Love you.
Speak to you soon.
God bless.
I believe they have a happy marriage.
Why is nobody talking about this film? It was directed by Yeon Sang-ho, who did The Train to Busan, and it's executive produced by Alfonso Cuarón, and this movie looks insane. It's about a pastor and a detective on a quest for redemption, solving a missing persons case and the abduction of the pastor's son. It's a crime, drama, mystery thriller, but it's from the man who made The Train to Busan, which is one of the best movies, not only just horror, that we've had in recent memory. And now you're going to add a supernatural twist, faith and religion to a crime story about missing persons, and nobody is talking about this film. It's coming out on March 21st on Netflix. It's called Revelations, and I cannot wait to see this film just because of the man's previous work. This movie looks insane, it looks scary, and I'm gonna be sat and watching this on March 21st on Netflix.
Korean movies are incredible.
China responds to Trump by saying it's ready for war after Trump causes disturbance with trade tariffs. Are we heading for war with China?
This is a really alarming escalation. When China says they're ready for any type of war, that's not just rhetoric. It's a direct signal to the U.S. that they're willing to push back hard, whether it's economically or militarily. Look, Trump's 20% tariffs are a big hit to China's export-driven economy, and their response, raising defense spending by over 7% and imposing retaliatory tariffs, shows they're preparing for a prolonged standoff. But here's the thing, China's military modernization is no joke. They're building advanced weapons systems, including nuclear-powered carriers, and conducting aggressive drills near Taiwan and other contested regions. The real danger, Joe, is if this trade war spills over into something bigger, like a military confrontation in the South China Sea or over Taiwan. Both sides are playing a high-stakes game here, and one misstep could spiral into something catastrophic. The question is, how far is either side willing to go before pulling back?
You know, when someone keeps pushing and pressuring to some degree, one would force to take action to protect and defend, their position and interests. Oh, this is in Spanish? Oh, okay. Símbolo map. Oh, the Mason. Is that black thing? My Hispanic people, please leave a comment below.
Breaking news, the bodies of 9 missing students were just found in Mexico and their hands were placed in a bag. I mean, this is horrible. The group was traveling to a city in Mexico known for their beaches when their family members just stopped hearing from them and reported them missing on February 27th. They went there to celebrate their graduation, and on Sunday, their remains were found inside of a car left on the side of a highway. 4 of them were found in the trunk in absolutely horrifying positions in order to make them fit, and the other 5 were found under a tarp. The first thing authorities noticed was that none of them had their hands until they noticed a bag nearby with 8 pairs of hands inside, and 2 more hands were left in the trunk. In total, they found 4 women and 5 men ages 19 to 30. All of them had GSWs, and there were signs that unspeakable things were done to them prior. So far, no suspects have been named, and authorities said they cannot offer information. There are lines of investigation, but they cannot reveal them due to confidentiality, and as soon as they can provide information, they said they will. Rest in peace to those poor students. Let me know what you guys think, and as always, I'll keep you guys updated.
Maybe the president of Mexico should get out of bed with the cartels and actually deploy military and take care of the issue. Mexico should learn from El Salvador.
Quack, 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 quack.
Twerk, 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 twerk,
Quack,
twerk.
quack, 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 na, 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 na. Quack, 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 na, na, na. Quack, 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 quack. Baby, I quack, 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 quack.
Ooh, look at that.
Oh. Na, 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 na. Na, 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 na.
Whoa. Look at the bear. That's crazy.
What?
Not knowing probably saved her. She would have panicked and probably made a mistake if she knew.
So this is breaking news. I knew this was going to happen, and I had to fact check it just to double check. Donald Trump posted this on Truth Social that said, please explain to Governor Trudeau of Canada that when he puts on a retaliatory tariff on the US, our reciprocal tariffs will immediately increase by a like amount. That means that the 25% tariffs, they are now going to be 50%. And I called this. I knew this is exactly what he was going to do. And here's how I know. It's because that's what I would have done if I were Trump. And the reality is, our cards in our hand, it's very weak. When Doug Ford says and makes a threat like shutting off power and electricity, in a negotiation, you have to do it. You literally have to follow through with it. You don't ever make a threat and then bluff.
Yep.
The second you bluff, you lose all credibility. And we are now, folks, in a scenario where we've jumped off a cliff and we cannot change our mind halfway down. Once you've jumped, the best thing you can do is brace for impact. And since we're already on our way down, the best thing Canada can do is to also increase it to make the tariffs 50%. And I'm going to tell you why. All trade will halt. I believe the math is the economy, both in Canada and the US, nothing can survive with no trade going back and forth by more than 15 days. It's not sustainable. We can make it 75. It's going to hurt the US a lot. They actually sell more goods to us than we sell to them when you take out oil. So the damage that this would do is substantial on both sides. But now we're getting into a situation of what's called game theory. And you have to plot out all options to determine what the best outcome is, especially knowing your opponent like Trump.
Trump doesn't need to bluff. They can survive without Canada. Canada, on the other hand, have Trudeau.
The best way that I can describe to you what a demon is a meth head.
Got high
It's the best way to describe what a demon would be physically. And why would I say such mess to you people about that? Well, the demons were the Nephilim here on Earth. And one of the things that they loved to do here on Earth was to partake of the humans. All the glands that got them super high. And that taste has never went away from the demons or the Nephilim. They're the same. And so now, because they weren't supposed to be part of this system, they're stuck in detention. The neighboring bells, the walls, whatever you want to call it. But think of the demon as like a meth head, coming to you for their change, or your change, or whatever object they can sell in your ear. Sniffing on your scent, whatever aura you protrude to the universe.
The Met films.
I was born into a satanic family going back quite a few generations. In front life, my mother was a sex worker. In back life, she was a slave to some other members of her family and also non-family members who were part of the cult networks. I was sold to a man that I knew as Louis Valou. This guy named Louis Valou was part of organized crime in Lower Manhattan in Chinatown, and he was one of my handlers growing up. There was a period where he was grooming me essentially to take his position. I had to do a lot of physical violence towards other children as part of his initiations, and some of that culminated in public death matches, cage matches with other children in Chinatown for paying audiences. Different politicians would show up sometimes, actors would show up sometimes, and a lot of the really wealthy people who are anonymous would show up. They took me to private islands in the Bahamas, showed me how some of the trainers were living.
Like the Jeffrey Epstein Island?
Among others, yeah.
You were there?
I was there. When I was being taken to these islands, I would see all kinds of popular and famous people. About Epstein himself, he was really able to switch on a dime from, absolute murderous rage killing to just completely pleasant. He could deal with the high-minded and the low-minded, bring everybody to their basest level and send them on their way to experience whatever horrible things they might want. It was a well-run operation. Obviously, it wasn't just him.
When he said among others when talking about Epstein, makes me believe that Epstein is just the tip of the iceberg.
I think that AI is a very ancient technology that we're now discovering. In the book of Ezekiel, especially, the vision of them traveling in these craft that are a wheel within a wheel. So they had to have made these in a different realm, different whatever. So they have a technology. I think our understanding of technology is just different.
I don't think we could even do the math on what that tech would look like, because we are in this universe limited by the dimensions we are.
And we're not meant to understand.
Again, we're going to go full circle back where it talks about the days that it will be like the days of Noah.
Yeah.
I think the days of Noah were way more complicated than just people being bad people, right?
Yeah.
I don't think it was just giants, like Nephilim walking around. I think there was this, if you talk about like the Tower of Babel, I believe they truly possessed this heavenly type of technology that could be devastating to humans. It's like the tree of good and evil, right? This is a thing from the heavens that they were probably messing with in the days of Noah because of the fallen angels introducing all these things. And then I think that's getting reintroduced today through potentially AI, quantum computers.
I think AI was always here. We just have to learn how to access it.
Your phone may literally be making you sick. Watch this.
This phone, in its settings, tells you how far it has to be off of your body to prevent cancer. It tells you. If you go to your settings, to general, you scroll all the way down to legal and regulatory. Who knew this was in the bowels? Do you see it? I'm in it. Legal and regulatory, click it. The very bottom one says RF exposure. That stands for radio frequency exposure. And then it tells you, mine is on the second paragraph. This must be 5 millimeter separation off of your body. It's about a pencil eraser. So they're covered when you get brain cancer because you put your phone to your head.
I always speak on speakerphone.
You bet you do. Distance is your friend with radio frequency, with electromagnetic fields. But they just came out with a study. It just literally, the further this is away from you, the better. We're at a higher rate of testicular cancer on young men.
Let me know what you think in the comments. As always, thanks for watching. Stay weird.
I heard Bluetooth earphone was bad too. Yeah. Look at you. Oh no. Oh. Intelligent.
Talk about things caught on camera. Bro, have you seen, okay, there's this clip of the Falcon 9 in space, and it was a live stream, right? And so it's showing the outside of the ship, okay? Someone spotted a mouse. What? On the outside of the thing. You can see it on video. You can see it crawl.
In space?
That's what I'm saying. That's what
It's
people
not
are freaking
space,
out about, man.
man.
Because people are like, wait a minute.
Wait.
Is this true? Is this a live stream from actual space? Or is this some type of studio stuff and they just let something slip?
Oh, man.
But dude, I'll show you the video. It's absolutely crazy because you see it up close and you're just like, what is he looking at? And then you see something move that absolutely, that's 100% a mouse.
Oh my gosh.
And so it makes me wonder, like,
The new Ratatouille.
what are they up to? What are they filming?
astronaut? What do you mean that could be an astronaut?
Right there.
Wait!
Dude, that's what I'm saying, bro. It's all over.
I mean,
But
it could probably live for like a little bit on the
Outside?
way to space.
No, your
on the
head
way.
explodes.
Tartarian music was built on an advanced understanding of sound and resonance. Modern studies show that specific frequencies can create patterns in nature, support focus, and influence well-being. Tartarian music wasn't just an art form, it was a scientific breakthrough in vibrational engineering. What if I told you that sound, when structured properly, could rearrange matter, synchronize brainwave activity, and even alter human perception? The Tartarians didn't just play music. They designed harmonic technologies, tuning instruments like the Zyrmaluth guitar to frequencies that interacted with the body's bioelectric field. Their sound waves weren't just heard. They were felt, absorbed, even embedded into consciousness itself. Modern science acknowledges that resonance affects everything, from atomic structures to planetary motion. But the Tartarians, they were centuries ahead, using sound to stabilize architecture, enhance cognitive function, even influence emotional states. Each Tartarian note was a geometric blueprint of energy, coded into vibrational form, designed to realign the human system to a natural harmonic state. And now, for the first time in centuries, we've recovered these frequencies.
It sounds crazy, but it's not. Look at the snowflake.
Zelensky and Starmer, the globalist scam exposed. Zelensky's arrogance is out of control. You saw it, swaggering into the Oval Office, pretending to go negotiate, insulting Trump, throwing slurs at J.D. Vance, acting like he had all the leverage, and now we know exactly why he thought he could get away with it. Zelensky isn't just a leader. He's a poster boy for the establishment. The PR machine is in full swing, using the suffering of the Ukrainian people to prop up a puppet thief and his handlers. They need public opinion on their side, so they dress him up like a hero while he sells Ukraine out from under its own citizens. Weeks before meeting Trump, Zelensky had already signed a 100-year deal with the UK, a contract that locks Ukraine's resources, security, and infrastructure into the hands of Keir Starmer's globalist government, and right at the center, a minerals clause. But here's the kicker. Ukraine doesn't even have substantial rare earth minerals. So what's this really about? It wasn't about Ukraine. It wasn't about minerals. It was about using Ukraine as a pawn to push the globalist agenda and crush anything that Trump tries to achieve. And it explains everything why Zelensky is so emboldened, why the EU and NATO keep funneling money into a war they can't win, why the propaganda machine is working overtime. But here's what they won't tell you. Ukrainians, real Ukrainians, don't support Zelensky. I get dozens of messages every day from people inside Ukraine telling me exactly that. The only ones I see backing him are the ones who don't live there. My own wife, a Ukrainian, sees what's happening and is furious because her family is in danger. Not because of Russia, but because of a power-hungry con man playing the heartstrings of good people to turn them against each other. This isn't about America versus Ukraine. It's not about choosing sides like it's some kind of sports match. We are the citizens. They are the politicians. Stop falling for the scam. Zelensky and Starmer thought they could play America. They thought they could play Trump. Instead, they just exposed the entire globalist con for what it is. So now the real question is, who else is in on it? And how much longer are we, the people, going to fall for this?
There are a lot of Ukrainians and Russians live in Bali, and actually they're friends with each other.
A professor from Mud Fossil University is captivated by the petrified head of a Naga reptilian sent to him from a woman in Malaysia. A woman who refuses outright to bring it inside her house because of her culture's firm belief in the existence of these creatures. Watch this.
This, and I know this thing was alive, and you'll see it in a second. You see these different textures around the eyes, around the lips, and like the creases and so forth, up on the head and in the back. I'll show you. This was a fluted-headed creature. Now, these are not great shots, but I worked with her for quite a bit, and I looked at it very carefully. I know what it is. All right, so that's the head. Now, this is the back of the head, where it comes out fluted. You see this? The head's cracked here. There's red blood coming out. All right, there's the carapace that comes
Wow.
out. Now, did this thing expand? I would say probably. Make like a cobra head. I don't know. But I don't see any reason for these folds like that. But I do see the crack right there. There's no question. That's cracked open, and that is literally red blood coming out of here. And she keeps it outside because she's scared of it. I don't necessarily blame her. Now, this is a real close-up of the eye, but you can tell, I understand different textures, and this had like some kind of like almost like a beak. You see how this comes down here? And it looks to me a little bit of a different texture than this. I could be wrong, it could be the same, it could be just the lighting. But my buddy here, Caesar Augustus, this is a little bit different than this. This is a beak or a bill or whatever they call them on geese. Yeah, I think this is a goose. If anybody can explain that feather pattern, this is what, I haven't had anybody tell me what has a big, good size. I think this is a waterfowl. And it's got that flappy underneath stuff that they have. And there's just feathers. And that's where his neck would have been. Now, this is, again, nucleophilic invasion substitution. You won't see this as being any different. All you see is the coating is different, which is, you can see the texture in there when you look. You can see that's a stroke, if you get it in the right highlights. And that's the vein, artery. There's the vein. Veins plug off. The throat just clogs up, it just gets transitioned into basalts primarily. Stone, it depends on where it was. You got limestone, basalts, you got mudstone, you got all kinds of stuff. And bones and everything, cartilage and everything gets transitioned at the same time and turns to the same material. That's called nucleophilic substitution. It invades and substitutes, and it happens with these transition metals in most cases, and then you get a lot of colorization.
Follow me for your dose of nightmare fuel.
That's creepy.
You've heard of the mafia, but did you know the most powerful criminal organization in the world is not the Sicilian Cosa Nostra? Meet the 'Ndrangheta, Italy's deadliest and most secretive crime syndicate. Born in the hills of Calabria, the 'Ndrangheta started as small-time outlaws but grew into a global empire. Unlike other mafias, they're nearly impossible to infiltrate. Why? Because their power is built on blood ties, family first, betrayal never. They control 80% of Europe's cocaine trade, moving billions while staying in the shadows. Unlike the flashy Sicilian or American mobsters, 'Ndrangheta bosses avoid the spotlight. No big meetings, no loose ends, just silent domination. But even the most secretive mafia has cracks. In recent years, massive police operations have exposed their inner workings. The biggest trial in decades is happening right now, with hundreds of members facing justice. But will that stop them? Or will the 'Ndrangheta stay untouchable? Let me know what you think in the comments.
It's not looking too good for Pope Francis, y'all. As of right now, he is sitting in a hospital with pneumonia in both of his lungs. Not one, but two. Pope Francis, I believe, is 82 years old. How do you end up with pneumonia in both lungs? I'm not gonna lie. As of late, pneumonia has been around since the fall came. Everybody know, especially in America, The fog's been around in mostly every state. And it's been around in every country too. And after that fog rolled through, people experienced getting sick. And I know a couple people that had walking pneumonia. I'm not saying the fog got them pneumonia. I'm just saying, what's the coincidence? You don't believe me? You can go look it up yourself. Pneumonia has been on a rise. So y'all let me know, why is pneumonia on a rise? Because I can't call it. It's been like this since that fog been around.
I wonder if we'd open the door, what's really happening.
Y'all ever seen this place? It's called Forte de Gaca. It's in Portugal. It's an entire mountain, carved out. It's called the Star Forts. Sometimes they're known as Bastion Forts. You ever heard about them? No? Oh, I believe that. If you did hear about them, you probably got the wrong story. Did you know that they are all over the earth? Everywhere. Every continent has some of these star forts. This picture here of the Earth that I'm zooming around, you see
I think most, if not all, are military bases now.
So they're everywhere. As you can see, plainly. There's a catalog, there's a website called starforts.org, okay? And the guy behind the website got all of these people, whenever this was a really hot topic. It's been not nearly as hot as a topic as it was for a while, but it got really, as a big topic during the peak of the Tartaria and the mud flood stuff, right? Kind of fell off a little bit, but it still always intrigued me, because how do peoples who supposedly have no contact with each other do this same type of work all over the earth? How is that possible? They're not sharing information. And some of these shapes, if you were to put frequencies, I think it's called an oscilloscope. If you put certain frequencies into an oscilloscope, they come out looking like these star forts. They come out looking like these star forts. My theory is a little bit different, I think, than most people's theories, but I'm not going to share it unless people want to hear it. So if you want to hear more about what I believe about this topic, let me know.
All right.
1958, Alberto Ruz-Luillier, a tenacious archaeologist, found himself standing before the majestic ruins of Palenque. For years, explorers had marveled at its architecture, yet none had dared to delve deeper. But that all changed when Ruz discovered a series of plugs hidden in the temple floor. With a heart pounding with anticipation, Ruz and his team removed the plugs. Beneath them lay a hidden staircase spiraling down into the temple's depths. It took Ruz until 1952 to remove all the debris that was blocking the stairway. But at the bottom was a large triangular stone. With the help of his workers, Ruz managed to move the stone with a crowbar. Inside was a giant stone slab with mysterious inscriptions. Ruz was able to lift it. He inserted his flashlight and gasped. The beam of light revealed a human skull. It was the skull of Pakal, the legendary ruler of Palenque.
China's manufacturing is way more insane than people realize. China's #1 in trade, #1 in steel, #1 in shipbuilding, and #1 in high-speed rail.
Yep.
Also, they're leading in robotics, and they have fully automated factories. They're now #1 on car exports, which was not the case 5 years ago. If you go to developing countries, you will see a shocking number of Chinese cars on the road. A lot of people assume China just makes cheap stuff, but that is not the case. I mean, look at their drone shows. Pretty much all drones are made in China, too. They have the vast majority of rare earth metals, and they're the leading producer of 33 elements. China leads in nuclear power, and they're planning 150 new reactors in the next 15 years. Then there's semiconductors, batteries, and solar. And surprisingly, only 16% of China's exports go to the United States.
They reinvest profits into the country's prosperity instead of, enriching a few hundred billionaires. It makes a difference.
Arctic humans?
Yeah, you heard that right. They're an advanced branch of ancient polar hominids, okay? These beings have been thriving down there for centuries, untouched, unseen. They don't leave because they don't need to. Their biology is hardwired for this brutal, ice-covered world. Think about it. They're like us, but not. Snow white hair, skin so pale it's almost translucent. And listen, this isn't some struggling hidden tribe. No, this is a full-scale civilization, way older than anything we've been taught.
The elite families?
They've ruled over this frozen domain for generations.
And what do they control?
Rare minerals, resources you won't find anywhere else on Earth. Now, ask yourself, why can't we just waltz into Antarctica? Why is access so restricted? Because the powers that be don't want them discovering us, and they definitely don't want us discovering them. It's a delicate game, trading in secret, keeping this ancient empire locked away from public knowledge.
The shocking truth about life in a medieval castle. Forget everything you imagine about the glamorous life of nobles. The reality inside a medieval castle was a living nightmare. At dawn, bone-chilling cold filled the damp, dark rooms, which were overwhelmed by an unbearable stench. A mix of rotting meat, filth, and sweat lingered in the air. And the worst part? No baths. Hygiene was practically non-existent, and strong perfumes were used to cover the grime, but only made the stench worse. The food? A Russian roulette of food poisoning. Meals were often spoiled and eaten without question. And at bedtime, lice-infested beds turned sleep into a nightmarish ordeal.
So you're telling me?
I'm sure this is exaggerated. Why would they live like that?
There are aquatic humans in the Bermuda Triangle?
You heard me right. But not just any aquatic humans, a completely separate branch of evolution, one that's been hiding beneath the waves for millennia. In the darkest trenches of the ocean, these beings have built entire civilizations, advanced societies that mirror our own in ways we can't even begin to understand. Years ago, Agent Jonathan Blake was sent to investigate unusual sonar readings, strange signals, unexplained disappearances of aircraft and ships that cross the triangle. The kind of stuff the government always writes off as accidents or freak weather incidents.
But what he found?
It was something else entirely. A sprawling underwater metropolis hidden beneath the currents, populated by humanoid figures, sleek with translucent bioluminescent skin, webbed hands, and massive reflective eyes, built to thrive in crushing depths where no human could ever.
Some proof supporting this would go along the way.
You know what that is?
Yeah, he that man in heaven. If he truly repented and gave his life to Christ, he's in heaven.
Really?
Yes.
After he murdered, cut people's heads open and drugged them and raped them.
Yes.
He goes to really?
Yes.
That's my like you know, and I'm not like that's just my personal opinion, right? And
yeah, it's tough. It's tough. But the thing is, Paul was killing people. Paul was burning. That's not a fantasy story. That's a real life story. Paul, who was Saul from Tarsus, literally was killing people. But he wrote 13 books of our Bible. He was killing Christians and then turned around and telling Christians how to be a Christian. That's true. We are so caught up on the actions of people that we miss the big picture. You lying to somebody is just as bad as you killing somebody. Because sin is sin in God's eyes. If he truly had a heart of repentance and he said, God, Jesus, I'm sorry for this sin that I've committed against you, man, that man is in heaven.
The reason why this is so hard for people to wrap their heads around is because innately we compare our righteousness to the person next to us, meaning, well, I'm better than that person. Like, I'm not that bad of a person, so I'll probably go to heaven. They might go to heaven. That person is definitely not going to heaven. What we're doing is we're comparing laterally when God says, I need you to compare up. The only way that you get into heaven is if you're perfect. God is the standard of perfection. And if we have any blemish in us, we're not getting in. None of us are. No. The Bible says that we all have sinned, and we are all worthy of the wages of our sin, which is death. Not just here, but in the life to come. And so this point is so important because it reminds us to stay humble, man. Nobody is getting into heaven based off of their good works. All of our good works are filthy rags before a righteous God. And this is why Jesus' act, dying on the cross for you and for me,
that's my righteousness right there.
He paves the way for us to receive eternal life when none of us deserve it. Even if you've murdered somebody. This is the scandalous grace.
Had this statue in an ancient temple. You can see two figures, and they seem to be hugging each other in a strange, intimate position.
Wow.
But when we look closely, it does not seem to be a man and a woman. Rather, both of them are females. Look at the hands of the woman in the front. Why has she bent her hands behind her back and kept them in such an elevated position? Behind
Wow.
her, the other woman is completely leaning on her, and her arm is kept around the bottom of this woman. What I find interesting is her hair. It seems to be carved until this point, but it does not end here. It then curves up and makes a huge circle which encompasses both these women.
What you're about to see is real video footage recorded by NASA showing massive structures, alien bases, and large cities on the moon's surface. This video footage was recorded by Apollo 11 astronauts, July 1969. NASA has been keeping it secret, lying to the public. United States top secret classified documents would be leaked in the reports, would be detailed information about NASA conducting secret missions to the moon, investigating the structures. NASA would learn that these structures could possibly be millions of years old. Who built these structures on the moon? Who were they? Where did they come from? Why did they leave? What happened to them?
Area was not just a battle, it was the violent restructuring of reality itself. A civilization wiped from the record, not through conquest but through the rewriting of time. The year was 561 before the war, before they added 1,000 years to the timeline, before they buried an empire beneath layers of deception, leaving only fragments, maps that no longer match our history, architecture that doesn't fit its era, stories that seem to lead nowhere, and one painting, one image they allowed to survive. The celestial battle over Nuremberg in 1561 should not exist. Eyewitnesses saw the sky erupt with warfare, massive black spheres, rods, and unknown machines engaging in aerial combat. It was documented. The people saw something they weren't meant to see. A war fought not for land, but for the control of history itself. Objects fell from the heavens, crashing to earth, burning. What technology was lost in that battle? What knowledge was taken from us? Tartaria was not destroyed in a war we were told about. It was removed, its past cut out, its legacy turned to myth. Cities buried, their first floors swallowed by earth. Entire civilizations folded into new empires with false origins. Fires, world fairs, the endless cycles of destruction followed by suspiciously rapid reconstruction, all part of a process, a ritual of erasure. The mud flood may not have been a natural disaster, but a deliberate weapon, a liquefaction event, a frequency reset, a global burial. What they could not destroy, they buried. What they could not bury, they rewrote. If time itself has been altered, then what year are we truly living in? What world were we meant to inherit? Tartaria's technology, its understanding of energy, its architectural mastery, none of it fits into the timeline we've been given. What if this empire had unlocked free energy, a system that did not require rulers, scarcity, or control? What if its existence threatened the very structure of those who claim power today? If the rulers of this false timeline could erase Tartaria, what else have they erased? And what happens when we start to remember?
The deception goes deep. The destruction of the bells as well.
So, no offense,
Wow,
nothing
look at her.
against people who love materialistic things and maybe who want a rich guy or something like that. I think you gotta understand about me, I'm not like that. I would never fit in that category if we gotta put people in categories. I would never get happy from materialistic things. I would never want someone to buy me stuff or fucking give me a nose job or give me to the hairdresser. Like, look at my hair. Fucking, do I look like someone who puts all this money on expensive stuff. What would I do with a Gucci bag? Would I get happier? What would I do with a really expensive watch or all these diamonds hanging here? Maybe I would look good for one day. Would it make me happier?
I have seen.
Give me 51 seconds and you'll remove any type of pain in your body, guaranteed. Watch this. See, neuroscience shows that our brain is like a computer, a supercomputer. This comes from a declassified CIA document, and you can look it up. Okay, any type of pain in your life, I'll share how you can get rid of it forever. This is simple. You can do it anywhere. So what you want to do, you want to see in your mind where the pain is. Then you want to repeat these codes. When you say this number out loud, or even in your mind, see the pain dissolving. 5, 5, 5, 1, 5. See it, say it 10 times, and see the pain dissolving. And so if you feel the pain again, just go at it again. Make sure you like this and repost this and send it to your loved ones, because this works. If you want them to have more money in your life, better sleep, I'll share the codes for that too.
Does it work only in English?
You launder your money.
So, a lot of people don't understand how to do it. You have to start off on a small scale. So, all this time, I had a lot of my money in the bank and where I could do stuff with it. You start off small, like boats, cars, trucks, four-wheelers, side-by-sides, whatever. You purchase them for $10,000, $20,000. You find people you can buy it for cash. You buy cash, and then you turn around. I don't care if I lost some money on it, and I'd always sell it, but I wanted a check. Because the bank don't care. Nobody cares where the money, as long as it's in a check. Nobody gives a shit. You put it in cash, they're all like, I'm banned from every big bank too, just to let you know. I'm not allowed to deal with no big bank because of my charges. Because we put so much money in cash in the banks through the clinics, I'm banned from every big branch. I can only use Chime. And these credit unions, only 2 banks. So anyways, make a long story short, I would start off small, $10,000, $20,000 things. Once I got about $50,000 in the bank, I went and purchased a cheaper house that needed a lot of renovation. So I only put enough to put down on them. So what I would do, just enough. And I do like interest-only loans. And then I would take that need like $100,000 renovation. I'd do it all in cash because the bank, nobody knows. Nobody knows. They just know you purchased. They think you flipped it. That's it. I put $100,000 into it as much as I could without losing money. Most of the time I made money. So instead of like paying on it, I actually made money off my money. So I'd take the house and I'd do that, and then I'd sell it. And then I'd have over $100,000 in equity, like in real money. So now I'd find a bigger project, put the whole $100,000 down again. And then I would have enough money in the bank to pay the notes. I wouldn't use the cash to do it. Then I would find a house that needed $150,000. And then I would repeat the process. Eventually, I would have to pay taxes on that money, which was fine. And then I was selling, buying stuff, flipping it, race cars, boats, cars, whatever. I buy it cash, sell a check. And that's how I do it. I do it on a small level because I only needed that money to buy like vehicles, houses, stuff like that. The rest of my shit, all my toys and everything else, I pay cash because it doesn't matter. Like your meals, strip clubs, hookers, your
hookers,
your like all the small shit, vacations, cash. You only need to launch your money to do your big things. So it doesn't have IRS and the big people looking at you. So when they look at you, they're like, oh, he's flipping houses. He's got a business. And I have another thing I tell people all the time. Pool businesses are great because pool business, lawn businesses, you can buy all the equipment cash and then you can buy accounts. You spend all your drug money into advertisement and buying accounts. Because lawn businesses are always selling counts that they don't want no more when they grow. And pool businesses are always, they get too many for them business. They sell them for like $1,500 a count or some shit. $500 to $1,500. So you just take it and you give them cash for it and you build your business. Now, say it costs you $1,000 a month to run your business. That's fuel, chlorine, whatever. I'm just making up a number. You're going to use $500 of it out of your bank account in your business so it looks like you're using your business, and then you use it $500 out of drug money to pay for your gas, some of your chlorine bills, all your stuff, materials. You don't want to do too much because then it's an off balance and it starts looking fishy. So you just do half of it. So you're laundering money through your business that way. You're buying accounts. All your advertisements, all cash. You don't put it on your books as a tax write-off because you don't want to be like, he's spending more money he's bringing in. I didn't care about the tax write-offs. All I wanted to do was grow my business, get as much stuff so I could sell it, or I just had it where it was making so much money to where I didn't. And you don't want businesses that you have to run yourself. You want business that's dummy proof, or you just hire a bunch of guys, go mow yards, clean pools, whatever. You flip a house, you're hiring contractors, you're paying them cash. There's ways of doing it.
Just watch Ozark.
This is the worst pedophile in the history of Japan. And when he died, he was an international celebrity. So if you know the story of Jimmy Savile in the UK, this is a very similar tale. When Jimmy Savile died, he had been knighted, he was an international celebrity, and he was beloved by everybody in the UK. But shortly after his death, disturbing allegations of pedophilia were brought up, and Jimmy Savile would then be revealed to be an extreme monster who had abused hundreds of children during his lifetime and even abused corpses in a morgue. But let's get back to this guy, Johnny Kitagawa. Johnny was an American-born Japanese talent manager and businessman. He was the founder and president of Johnny & Associates, an all-male talent agency for boy bands in Japan. So during his life, Johnny assembled, produced, and managed a number of extremely popular
I know
boy
where
bands.
this is going.
These bands that he created were extremely popular. They routinely released singles that topped the charts, and they sold out arenas across the world. And all of this led Johnny to become a hero across all of Japan. In fact, he even had Guinness World Records for the most #1 singles produced by an individual. Johnny was an extremely important and beloved member of the Japanese entertainment industry. And when he died in 2019 at age 87, he was celebrated. After his death, there was a huge memorial concert held at the Tokyo Dome, which was attended by 154 artists represented by his talent agency and a number of extremely popular celebrities. So all seemed well and done after Johnny died. He was leaving behind a legacy of extreme talent and creativity. Well, in March of 2023, the BBC released a documentary. This documentary was titled Predator, The Secret Scandal of J-Pop. And this documentary dived deep into sexual abuse claims made against Johnny. And these claims spanned decades. The first claims were actually made in the 1960s. These claims were made at a training school that Johnny taught at. He had allegedly assaulted multiple students. There was also a book published in 1988 by a former artist that Johnny had once managed, where he stated that Johnny had tried to assault him and that he operated a casting couch. We could go through all these allegations one by one, but you just need to know that time and time again, over the course of decades, multiple people came forward stating that Johnny had assaulted them, that he had tried to force minors to drink and party with him, and that he was continuing to assault minors. But time and time again, nothing was ever done about it. Well, after this documentary was released, this opened up the floodgates. And eventually it was revealed that Johnny may have had 100 to 200 plus victims, and that there was a system put in place for Johnny to abuse them at this talent agency that he ran. It seems that lots of people knew that Johnny was abusing young boys, but nobody, even those who knew that it was happening, had ever come forward to prove it. So, if you want me to make another TikTok about this story is insane, but you just need to know that Johnny died a national hero in Japan.
Man.
And he was never actually convicted of any of these crimes while he was alive, meaning that Johnny got away with the molestation of hundreds of individuals. Be sure to let me know in the comments if you'd like me to continue talking about this story, because I feel like I had never heard anything about this until I researched it myself. And if you like true crime, be sure to listen to the podcast that I co-host with my wife, Murder in America, available now on all streaming platforms.
We're definitely gonna need to hear more. Everyone needs to hear the truth. By the way, that guy has a good podcast. What
You
is...
drink coconut water, you might want to check your fridge. Right now, more than 2 million cans of coconut water are being pulled from shelves. The FDA
Ew.
has issued a recall on 12 can cartons of Jarritos coconut water. According to them, a seal on the can could break, and that could lead to
Ooh.
contamination with harmful bacteria. The recall is currently in place across 29 states, including Texas. So if you have some in your fridge, they say just throw it out.
I keep telling y'all, many different stores have different chemicals and different ways to bring you to an early grave. You ever had one of your family members come out of nowhere and get diagnosed with something else that nobody else has in the family and ever had? You're either drinking, spraying, or rubbing something on yourself that's chemically toxic. Walmart, Target, a lot of different big stores, toxic. But once you look at the owners and how toxic they are, you understand why. They don't care about your life. I know a lot of you guys ask yourself, well, what is the alternative? Yes, there is an alternative. There are different stores that you can shop at that are not toxic, but in fact are healthy. Not only that, but different stores who are owned by God-fearing individuals. There's a whole movement going on with millions of people who already know about this. The question is, do you know about this? Guys, if you don't know about it and you want to find out about the movement, click the link in my bio or the link in my caption. It'll be somewhere where you guys can find out about the movement. I've joined the movement. My family have joined the movement. We gave up on toxic trash. So it's only right for me to share the same solutions with you. Check the link, get involved. God bless you. I love you. Shalom.
I love coconut water, but not from the bottle. Coconut water trees goes everywhere here.